Give me that water, I need a fighter. Okay, I can't get it like you.
Welcome to the Counterculture Podcast. Our podcast was created to help young adults hear a different perspective on relevant topics in today's culture. So hang out with us as we look at the world through God's Word.
Give me that water, I need a fighter. Okay, I can't get it like you.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Counterculture Podcast.
What's up?
It's your host, Eli, alongside
Mitch.
co-host Mitch. And today we have an interesting topic to cover. I feel like it's going to go in quite a few different directions, if I'm being honest. Why don't you go ahead and lay out what video we're going to be talking about today, Mitch?
Okay, so the main thing that we're going to be reacting to today is a little short clip that's gone viral as of recent, and that would be the clip of Selena Gomez crying on her Instagram story about Trump's deportations that he's started to put in effect.
Yes.
She took it down, so it's not available anymore. Very rude. Very rude. She took it down, but we still have it. You know, she put it out there, so it doesn't stop it from becoming a meme.
Digital footprint. Gotta love it.
So we're going to react to that, and I just think that it's going to lead into greater conversation that just we can expand on and into different things than just that video. And then might do some other segments.
Couple little one-offs, maybe.
Yeah, stay tuned. We might be responding to some comments as well.
Maybe going through our top 3 pet peeves. Mitch has a lot.
Okay, I like that. That's a good idea.
You like that? I just came up
Okay.
with that on the spot.
Okay, okay.
All right, let's watch this video. I actually have not even seen this video. It's crazy. You know why? Because I'm not on social media.
That's good.
I am abstaining from all media.
Why don't I just give you
All right, yeah. Let me see this.
play it?
All right, let's watch it.
Just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Okay, there we go.
What do you think about that? As someone who just reacted to it for the first time, how much of that do you think is real?
You know, it's hard to say.
It is.
Because part of me is like, I get it. Like, I get it. Like these are real people, you know? Like, regardless of who it is. Like, it is real people, but it's also real people on death row. I know that's not a great parallel, right? But it's like, you know, I think there's consequences to actions. I'm going to be honest, as far as the whole deportation thing, illegal immigrants, like, I'm not extremely educated. What I will say is if you came into a country illegally, it is warranted for you to be removed from that country forcefully. Like, I guess I don't know how else to say that. Like, that, and that's just, like, I can tell you that's not a liberal stance. That's not a Republican stance. Like, that's me just, if you were to ask me which way, like, how I would make sense of that. Like, that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say if somebody comes to a country illegally, if I went to Russia illegally, Russia has the right to forcibly remove me and, evict me,
Mm-hmm.
deport me out of Russia. I think that makes logical sense. So is that kind of what this is around? Like, am I tracking or am I off base?
Yep. So because Trump is in office now, he's signing a bunch of executive orders, and one of the things he's doing right now is mass deporting illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Starting with, like, what he claims to be the worst of the worst, not just Trump, but like the commanding officials of ICE and these organizations he's working with to deport the immigrants. They're saying they're starting with the worst of the worst, like the illegal immigrants that also have a criminal record, background, and just kind of working from there.
Which is what I also heard. Like, we're starting with people who are a threat to our nation, which doesn't seem like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I don't know where we're at now. Maybe it's expanded on from that. But that's what she is, and Selena Gomez is part or fully Mexican in some way. I'm not
she's
sure
part.
her specific ethnicity, but she is saying that her people are being attacked, and that's why she feels the need to post that.
Yeah, and you know, it's all. I will say this too. There is just an agenda all over. I mean, you think of, you know what's funny? Like things that aren't talked about. I was doing a little bit of research. Actually, me and a coworker, we're having a conversation today. I would say, generally speaking, we are on the very opposite side of every single viewpoint. Like that's a good way to put it. And yeah, we have very cordial conversations. It's progressive. It's beneficial. And so we kind of talked about some of these things. And I was doing a little bit of research afterwards, and it's interesting. Like one of the things, like I think Trump made a decree for some Native American tribe to basically get like all these government benefits and be recognized as a tribe and this and that. And it's like, we don't talk about that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not talking about how, number one, Native Americans are actually the most marginalized, disrespected. Like literally we came into their homeland and took everything and said, hey, we'll shove you into the corner, into the worst corners, mind you, right? And so, it's just crazy. We like to take things that look bad on the surface and blow them up as this is the mark of what Trump is doing right now. It's like he's actually doing other things.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to attest that everything he's doing is good. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't stay up with it enough to be like, yeah, everything he's doing is great. It's perfect. But in reality, I think there's just two sides to the story. And I think you need to be hesitant. What I told my coworkers is this: you need to be hesitant to jump to all these horrible negative assumptions right away in the first 2 weeks of his presidency.
Yeah.
It's Trump. What do you expect? He's going to come in with a bang, right? And he's going to try and make a lot of moves, and he's going to try and do these things. At the end of the day, when we had, the last two presidents we had, and this is what I told him, he agreed. This guy who would consider himself probably on the liberal side of things agreed Joe Biden was useless. And I was like, okay, well, that's a great start. And I was like, we can both agree Trump's presidency went pretty well the term before. He was like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, so then you look at those two options. Harris was already in the cabinet, or whatever you call that, was in the presidential office, right? She was vice president. So she had an opportunity to do things while she was in office with Biden. They did nothing. They were useless. So the second option was somebody who has previously proven that they are able to take our economy and make it better. They're able to take our nation and make it better. So why are we like, you know what I mean? Like, why are we all, oh my gosh, his presidency looks so different in the first 2 weeks?
Yeah.
It's like, calm down.
Yeah.
And I think, another thing we can kind of go into this is it's like, oh, Selena, I don't know what you could do. Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, you could probably sell your, $20 million mansions. You could actually probably do something. I don't know if you will. I don't really care. It's not my life. But I think like being in a position where I think she's like the most famous person on Instagram. Like
she was at one.
She was at one point.
Followed.
So like we're talking money. How much is she worth,
Dude?
Can
She's a billionaire.
Yeah, come on.
Selena Gomez is a billionaire.
That's crazy.
I was shocked. I thought it would be like a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
I looked it up today. Yeah, she's a billionaire.
Yeah. Okay. When you're a billionaire, you can actually solve a lot of problems by yourself. That's a dangerous line to toe, right? Because it's like a $220,000 engagement ring, maybe to her, in relative income, maybe is less money than the engagement ring I got my wife, which was $2,000.
Yeah.
Right. But once again, still, it comes down to the magnitude and the volume of what's taking place. A $250,000 ring. We're talking about $1 billion net worth person that's crying on social media over something that she actually probably could help with. And at the end of the day, too, I guess I always want to know, like, what is the root of for people who have this disposition, what is the root of the anger? Like, because these people who are doing things illegally are facing repercussions for those actions. So I guess what are people upset about? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I missed something here in this argument.
I think I like what you said at the very beginning. You said that like illegal immigration isn't a Republican or Democrat stance.
Right.
Like if you were to go back, and I think we'll both be quick to claim ignorance on any topic.
Yeah.
If we don't know something.
For sure.
Yeah, we're both not super educated on illegal immigration. It's not our realm of expertise.
Yeah.
Per se, but I do know that under the last few presidents, not Biden, but talking about Obama, Bush, Obama and Clinton were Democratic presidents, Democrat candidates that supported illegal immigration. And they are on public record saying these people are illegal and we need to get them out.
Yeah.
So this is not a Trump idea.
Yeah.
So why has the narrative shifted?
And I knew that as well. So yeah, like you said, it's not this like mind blowing, like, oh my gosh, I can't. It's like that's what happens.
It's been happening, and it's been the policy of Democratic
but it's Trump's
presidents.
Trump's doing it though.
Yeah. So you got to think of like why is all of the hatred and the narrative spun against this one individual Trump when he's doing what's been done by Democrat presidents
Yeah.
the last decades?
So then the question is, I think, Mitch, the question is, what do we do then? Like, what is, and especially as Christians, like, what's our response to these things? Because I think, kind of this video, there's obviously multiple things we can talk about it, multiple ways, avenues we can talk about it. But at the end of the day, I think people are looking for, well, what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to think about this? As a Christian, like, am I supposed to get involved? Am I supposed to be on one side or another? Like, what do you think? What should our response be to stuff like this as Christians?
Well, I would, as a Christian, and maybe even not just as a Christian, I would be quick to not fall into the narrative that deporting illegal immigrants is bad. They broke the law, and we should want to strive to uphold the law.
Right.
And as a Christian, I think although we want to uphold the law, we should be able to empathize, sympathize with the people in this situation. Like, of course, like, full honesty, if I was an illegal immigrant, I came to the country illegally, and I was, like a majority of them that are just trying to work, who
provide for their family,
flee from Mexico because of whatever the factors.
Yeah.
I would break down and cry. I would be super sad that I was getting deported. Like, I would hate it. I would want to stay, but that doesn't make what I did right.
Right, for sure.
Like, I totally understand why it's a terrible situation to be deported, but all of those people knew that when they entered the country, it was illegal. They cut all the people in line that are trying to come through illegally.
And that's the thing, you can go into a whole long argument about how the process in order to gain access to America and citizenship is flawed, and it is flawed.
Yeah.
Like, my dad was working with, some people in our church who I think were originally from Liberia, were trying to get family members, visas, access, like granting citizenship to family. And like, one of the people hadn't seen their kids in 20 years. Like, it's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think, to your point, just because it sucks doesn't make the decision to break the law okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, that just because it sucks that, let's say your dad went to jail, it doesn't mean you can just break into the jail, break him out, and be like, well, it sucked. Yeah. So I wanted to break the law to make it better. Yeah. And so that's kind of where, like, my mind goes. And I think you are right. In the Gospels, they talk about loving the poor, and they talk about loving on widows. Those two things in specific, they mention a couple of times. And so we do have a call. We do have a call to love those who are unlovable and to reach the unreachable. And so I think that looks like having the empathy. I think it looks like having discussions and conversations with people who maybe are on the other side of the fence and not rushing to the defense of a presidential candidate, and actually just seeking to understand and then being understood. I mean, that's one of the most foundational things that I've used in a lot of the conversations that I've had, because it's so easy to just jump right onto the defense and instantly lose that person, right? My dad always said growing up, you can win an argument, but lose the soul. And so I think our mindset has to be, we are to love others as Jesus loved first. That's our first call, right? And we are to stand on truth. And so I just think it looks like balancing truth with grace. You can mean something. You can say what you mean and not be mean when you say it. I think that's a JP quote. Yeah. And it's like, it's cliche, but like, it's really true. And a lot of Christians, I think, do that really poorly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I would, just to focus a little bit more back on the video, She did delete it off her story. It became a meme. Now, like if you go on
Naturally.
TikTok, people are using her crying over like whatever video of theirs.
Of course.
She faced some backlash from this, and I think it's because there's a growing consensus among the public that aren't celebrities, who just don't like when celebrities complain about things and cry about things, because celebrities are so completely detached from reality. Yeah. Especially when you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know? So
there's levels. Yeah. There's levels.
So it's like I've seen a bunch of comments on this, and like people just like, the backlash was kind of like, where were these tears when, the victims of illegal immigrants were killed? Like people were killed because of illegal immigrants. Yeah. Where was your crying for that? Where was your crying for the hundreds of thousands of missing kids? Yeah. Like from the border. Yeah. That we just have no idea where they are. Yep. No celebrity came out against that or made that known. Yeah. Interesting. But when the law is upheld, then the people will start crying. The celebrities who think they know what reality is will come on. And I don't know if it's fake. I don't know what it is, but it is funny trying to picture a celebrity, Selena, crying and getting her phone out on Instagram, and
it's crazy.
Like okay.
And that's what's sad too. It's like, I think people are just sheeps, and like I don't say that in a degrading way. I just say it in a way of like, we are brainwashed, man, and some people just blindly follow whatever media says, whatever news outlet that they prefer says. And the problem is, there has to be a healthy level of skepticism when you're looking into anything. And I told, the coworker I was talking to today, I told him that. I'm like, dude, the problem is, how do you know what to believe? Like, I don't believe the news media outlets on the side that I agree with. Like, I'm skeptical of those. So I think you just have to take off your rose-colored glasses, thinking that your side is completely correct. Everything that's said from your news or media outlet is going to be 100% from the right perspective, and realize there's two sides to the story, and you probably just don't have the full picture. Yeah. And like you said, when it comes to these celebrities, it's hard because do they really understand the pain and the suffering these people are going through when they're able to buy, engagement rings that cost $250,000? I would argue that they don't. I would argue that there is a level of dependency that they have absolutely no idea. Like, Selena Gomez has been a celebrity her entire life. Yeah. So it's like, do you really care, or do you just want to win the brownie points from the people that follow you? And it's overall going to increase your follower account. It's going to increase the engagement. It's going to help your overall persona as a creator, give you more brand deals. Like, that's, in my mind, what I go to. And maybe that's a pessimistic view of society and of celebrities, but I don't know. I think it's just hard to be optimistic. Like you said, when it's like, all right, dude, this is what you're crying over all that's happened. Like, this is what you're crying over. Yeah.
It's moments like this that just show, it surfaces the level of kind of not insanity, but just delusion.
Delusion is the right word.
Delusion and dilution of people, of celebrities' minds. Yeah. When it comes to, events that are tragic like this, but it's like, there is some hypocrisy that you can visually, and it's very observable. Yeah.
And and like you said, I think what just strikes me is there are so many bigger issues at hand. Yeah. There just are. Like, I get it, but that's a physical, like, relocation. Like, we're not talking about, like, mass murders. We're not talking about the genocide that's taking place with abortions. We're not talking about kids making changes to their gender, and changes to their physical appearance early on in their life, ruining the rest of their life. Trump's trying to stop that. I think that's amazing. Right? We're not talking about those things. We're talking about somebody being relocated. And at the end of the day, is there less opportunity in Mexico? As Christians, our mindset also needs to be heavenly and eternal focused. And like, are we crying over the people who are dying and going to hell? Like, she claims to be a Christian. You know what I mean? It's like, we're talking about people being relocated to, like, what about the people in your life who are dying, going to hell? Yeah. Like, are you crying about those when you're waking up in the morning, knowing, hey, some of my best friends are literally going to hell? I don't know. To me, that seems like something to cry about. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. It's terrible.
And I would still even be reluctant to cry about that on social media.
No, I wouldn't. But, it'd be more warranted in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like if she was crying about people going to hell and some of her best friends that she's been trying to witness to and talk to Jesus about and they just haven't received the message, it's like, man, yeah, that's a heavy burden. I have people like that in my life right now, friends that I care deeply for, and they don't know Jesus. And it hurt. Like I prayed for one just last night, and I just prayed. It was kind of the theme of our youth group prayer, and I just prayed. I just was like, God, save them, like please, And it was breaking my heart, but I didn't take a video and start crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just boundaries that need to be in place.
I really do hope the people who are at that level of echelon, billionaires, multimillionaires, I hope that if they do care about these issues, they are donating large amounts of money to help these people that they so desperately care about. I think everyone should. I think you should be, with what you have, giving in a certain ways to different charities or organizations that help the less fortunate and the misfortuned in this country and other countries. But especially when you have billions of dollars or just millions, like I hope if you claim to care about these people so much that you'd cry on your Instagram story, I hope that you're doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
You can do a lot to help.
And we can continue, and this isn't a cop out, but we can continue to pray. Like pray for our nation. Pray for the people getting deported. Pray for the people deporting them. Like I think at the end of the day, prayer is powerful. And as Christians, we do need to just take that approach of like God is in control. We can stand on truth. We can try and do what we think is right, within the bounds of the law. But at the end of the day, we're not the ones sitting on the throne, right? Like Jesus is. And I think we oftentimes take that not very literal, we like to think like there's bigger powers at play here. President Trump really is. It's like, all right, dude, like President Trump is a blip. You know what I mean? Like he's not that big of a deal. Like Jesus sits on the throne. He's in control. And so do I think it's wrong to speak out for these issues? No. But could you have waited till you got done crying and then made a video? Probably.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, do I care? No. I didn't even see the video. Like I'm really not on social media that much unless I'm posting or doing something business related. So that's kind of how I work with social media and media in general. But yeah, definitely an interesting clip. Seeing it for the first time, kind of. I was trying not to laugh. It was kind of funny at first. Yeah. Unfortunately, I laughed. It was funny.
Yeah. So we can move into another segment if you want.
Another segment? Well, I am actually kind of interested. What are we doing? What are we doing? Something serious? Pet peeves? What? Bro, I want people to know how freaking weird you are. You got some weird crap you care about. This guy's weird as crap.
Okay, we can do pet peeves.
All right, I'll start.
You probably know mine.
One of my pet peeves is when people are in the gym and they don't do exercises with the correct form. It's just like, it's just like, it's not that hard, I guess. Just focus, control the motion, full contraction, full stretch. And there's actually a guy sitting on the couch with me right now who does not know this concept fully in some exercises. And some mornings, I have to put him in his place.
Douchebag.
And yeah, that would be Mitch. Mitch, do you have anything to say about your horrendous form on some of these exercises? It's not even, you know what? That's a stretch. It's not bad form. It's the lack of range of motion. He always claims he's getting full range of motion, but it's half of what everybody else gets. So that's my pet peeve number one.
Okay. I'll give it to you.
Your turn. Bro's trying to plot right now. He's trying to think of a pet peeve that I do.
When people are just so super arrogant.
Okay. That's crazy.
You need to make all their opinions known.
You can't hate yourself, bro. You can't hate yourself.
Okay, so an obvious one is burping. I hate burping.
Should I burp right now?
It's one of the most disgusting things to me.
Should we tell them what you think? Should we tell them your hot take?
Just say that I think that Farting is better than burping.
He would rather be farted. He would rather have someone fart in his face than somebody burp in his face. What is wrong with you?
For some reason, I just cannot handle the burps. They're less predictable than a fart. I can smell your food.
We gotta just stop.
Disgusting.
We gotta just. I can't even with this. That's insane. Unreal. Okay, my number 2 pet peeve. My number 2 pet peeve is when people care too much about dogs. Like it's. I hope Lillian watches this. I hope. I actually just talked to Kayla about this. I hope both of you watch this. I love God's creation. Don't get me wrong. But like when people care too much about dogs, like pamper them, the pup cups and this and that. I'm not saying don't like treat your dog well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, treat your dog well. Like take it to parks. Take it, Haley and Caden, they take it to this like dog park thing. Like awesome. You know what I mean? Great. Have fun with your dog. But your dog is not more important than humans. And when it starts getting to that level to where it's like, oh no, I can't do this. I got to do that because, the dog. What do you mean? Because it's a dog. Like, let it sit in its kennel if it has to for another couple of freaking hours.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff's crazy to me. Building houses for it. I don't know, bro. I just, for some reason, it rubs me the wrong way.
I agree.
And like I said, there's levels. I'm okay with you having a nice dog, whatever. If it's an outside dog, if you have a little hut for it, fine. But you start dressing that thing every day, making it wear shoes and serving it alcohol. I've seen some crazy stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. That's my number 2.
Okay. I would say another pet peeve is when people are late. Just like
Ooh, that's a big one
consistently
for
just
me.
Don't show up.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
If I could steal that, I would. That would have been a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, honor your commitment, bro. Like, it's not that hard to show up on time.
Yeah.
And early is on time's late. Late's unacceptable. Like, did you ever play a sport? That's what every coach ever taught me, right? Like, show up 5 to 10 minutes early.
Yeah, I like that.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Number 3 pet peeve. Oh, gosh. This is going to be hard. And to be honest, like, I'm stretching on pet peeves. Like, all these things, disclaimer, I really don't care that much. I'm not, like, easy to annoy, I guess. Like, I give Mitch a hard time. I don't really care. Like, I don't really care what you do with your dog. So I'm just, like, stretching to trying to, you know.
Yeah.
Number 3, I would say people who, just, like, don't take care of themselves. Like, smell. And it's just, like, wow. Like, really. Like, you just left and you didn't look in the mirror and you didn't put on deodorant. You didn't shower in the last week. And that's, like, you rock with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Maybe I'm just like, and I'm not even like a clean freak, but I take showers and I wear deodorant. I smell good.
Yeah, I haven't run into an individual like that in a little bit, but there's been some in my life where I'm like, no. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Another pet peeve. I mean, I would just like a general, when people just are arrogant and prideful. And I know that both of us struggle with that.
We do. Ironically, me and Mitch both hate what we are. Unfortunately. For sure. Like, in arrogance, like I always tell people there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, right? Said by somebody who's prideful. But it's there is. Like, in my job, I work in sales, commission. It's like I have to be really confident all the time in everything I do. The way I talk to people, the way I walk, the way I dress. Like, I have to just exuberate confidence because that's how I am successful. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's a difference between that and just, like, people who literally just can't stop talking about themselves. Just, like the arrogant. I mean, it used to be me, but sometimes it's still me. But yeah.
Well, it's just like, because I think if we were to approach someone in public or just talk with people that we don't know, Like, we'd be humble.
Super humble.
It's not, but I'm talking about the people that are still.
Yeah, that's
even
crazy.
Even talking people they don't know, just like full of themselves.
That's
you
crazy.
can tell.
That's crazy.
That's what I hate.
Okay, that's another level. Like, I'll be arrogant with like people I know, which is still not great.
Yeah.
And I still have to work on it, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like you catch me in public or like you meet me for the first time, you're like, oh, chill dude.
Yeah.
Unless you met me on the basketball court. Well, hey, look, for those watching on YouTube, seeing our setup, we appreciate you. And if you're just listening, we also like you too. All right. We don't want to forget about you. Best thing you can do to help us grow our podcast is share this with somebody. So if this was entertaining, informative, or you just feel like supporting the homies, share this with your homie, share this with your girlfriend, share this with your wife, your husband, whoever it is, we do not care. Share it with your dog.
Yeah. He'll love it.
He'll love it. You probably have a dog with an iPad. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Turn on bell notifications. And this podcast is sponsored by Uncertified. Uncertified.co. Luxury lifestyle clothing inspired by Romans 12:2.
And check out the song you heard in the intro, Water by Mitch. I have a new song coming out tonight as of recording this episode.
What? Wow. All right. With that said, we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.